You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer. Welcome to the Wednesday stream. Unfortunately, the music turned off in the middle of this. I apologize, folks. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday. Oh boy. Man, Twitter discourse, folks. That's all I gotta say. Brace yourselves, folks. This one's gonna be a doozy. Welcome, RE918 or Re. Michael Hassler. Welcome, everybody. Oh boy. Man, do we have a show today? Okay, got everything going, folks. We are good to go. Folks, before we get started, don't forget to hit the follow button if you haven't done so. We are trying to get to 2,500 followers, and I'm not gonna lie. We are close. We are close. Yeah, that tracks, Re. That tracks. If you're on the YouTube, keep liking the stream. I see you. Thank you. Consider subscribing to the channel. Today and tomorrow, if you sub on the YouTube channel, you get a Discord perk. I believe you get some free like nitro for a certain amount of time. You can check that out. Join the Discord, folks. Tomorrow we're going to have a Halloween event. And this Saturday, we're also going to stream another movie about 6:30-ish p.m. So join us there if you want to participate. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Consider checking out the merch store and hitting !tip. Also, I got a new announcement to make, stay tuned for that. Yeah, tip your streamer. Alright, folks, we gotta get started because, I got stuff to do. Hey, where'd my thing go? Ah, there we are.
Yeah, there you go. Next year it'll be no tax on tips. No tax on tips. There you go. Although I think both didn't Kamala also come out with the same thing?
The Republican Party working overtime to protect the election from basically anybody who doesn't have a white-sounding last name, or I should say, a non, like a more like non-Anglo last name, right?
AK more suspicious.
Yeah. This is a CBS Morning did a Inside the Vote segment, and they interviewed a guy from North Carolina. It's always North Carolina. Do you remember like years ago there was like I can't remember who did the segment. Maybe it was Asif Manvi on Daily Show. Had a segment with a guy from North Carolina who was curbing the vote and trying to essentially disenfranchise black people. And he says to him like, "Yeah, no, we're trying to keep black people from voting." And Asif Manvi goes, "I can hear you speaking." And he goes like, "Yeah, no, I know."
I'm thinking this is probably the segment I'll look into it, but the Daily Show segment that helped change North Carolina voting rights from 8 years ago on our show.
Yeah.
Has a Germanish name. There you go. You're safe.
Yeah, I think Asif, I think we had on to talk about that. All right, I don't need to see this dude. Just take it from here.
Whoa!
With Gas South's one price plan,
Gotta go take care. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. Thank you. My state is supremacy.
Alfred went to North Carolina for our series Democracy Watch and obtained a video with potentially troubling implications.
Last month, the Republican National Committee's...
Pause it for 1 second. I just want you to let that marinate. With potentially troubling implications. Well, this is pretty nuanced stuff, I guess. Let's see if I can follow along.
Does that mean it's potentially not troubling?
It's potentially not troubling, but it could have implications that are a little bit troubling. I wonder what it is.
Rolled into Raleigh, North Carolina with a message.
Only American citizens can vote.
To find or stop potential illegal voters, Republicans have filed lawsuits across multiple states, including this one in North Carolina, arguing improperly managed voting lists could open the door for significant numbers of non-citizens to vote.
The North Carolina Board of Elections is refusing to take the steps to take illegal immigrants off the voter roll.
Now, pause it for a second. Well, remember, Whatley was Trump's handpicked replacement for Ronna McDaniel. It is well reported that Trump got rid of Ronna McDaniel because she was focusing on get out the vote and not so-called election protection.
Don't get out the vote.
Don't get out the vote. Just make it sound like the vote was stolen. So Whatley and Lara Trump are there to basically do a project to set a predicate that this election's going to...
Maria's a good friend of mine, boss. Hey! That's actually pretty cool.
Be stolen, right? I will remind you that there have been maybe a handful of illegal votes over the years. Yes, one of them was Ann Coulter, but we can remember with specifics of this because there's so few. Sometimes people register when they're not allowed to, but they don't actually vote because if you're in this country and you're not legal to be here, you are undocumented, you're not going to go, you know what? I'm risking it all for my one vote. Plus, I want to say who can be the comptroller of Westchester County in New York. And so I'm going to risk going in and fraudulently voting. But listen to this. We getting close to 2 minutes in because that's where it really starts.
take illegal immigrants off the voter rolls.
Echoing political message of the Republican nominee.
And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote.
It is a lie. It is a myth.
But Democrats like Juan Perano, head of the Latino advocacy group LULAC, don't see it that way.
All right, pause it. Let me tell you why this is just such absolute bullshit, the way that the CBS is doing this. Because it's not Democrats that are saying this. It is every single person who has looked into this issue for decades. For decades. Google U.S. attorneys Bush scandal, where they fired U.S. attorneys who would not bring them cases of voter fraud, because these U.S. attorneys around the country came back to the Bush administration and said, we can't find any. We can't find any. I'm not going to make any up. So Karl Rove had multiple of these people fired. This is back in, 2004? Where they got fired in 2005 and the request came in 2004 in the run-up of the election. You don't need to go to a Democrat to find out that this is all bullshit. You don't need a Democrat. Democrats say there weren't 3 million illegals bust from Massachusetts into New Hampshire, and that's why Donald Trump. No. Everyone says this. But this is the way that they sort of deflect.
Would a non-citizen vote?
Latinos are not going to make the trip to the United States and literally put themselves in legal jeopardy by registering to vote and actually voting in an election.
Non-citizens have registered to vote in the
Right. This is all just nonsense. Off-world colonists, welcome. Next Tuesday's going to be crazy. This is the last fun week. True.
past. Since the last election, several states have taken steps to remove thousands of potential illegal voters from their rolls.
Pause it. I want to make it clear. The word potential is doing a lot of work there. The other way of saying that is red states have disenfranchised people in very dubious purges of their voter laws, rolls. That's the other way to report that.
Yeah. Incidentally, we are going to talk about this outcome that that happened with the case that we were following with the, I believe it was 1600. Yeah, 1600 voter potential voters.
Go ahead.
But officials say the number of non-citizens who've actually cast votes in federal elections is minuscule. North Carolina identified less than 50 in its most recent audit, although that was in 2016.
So usually this is a total non-issue.
We don't believe that there's any proof at all whatsoever that this is a widespread issue. It is illegal to vote if you are a non-citizen.
Don't risk your American dream.
The fight to clean up voter rolls and prevent non-citizens from voting is a focus of conservative election integrity groups who are distributing mailers and hosting in-person events.
They are voters that are most likely to be ineligible or illegal.
Jim Womack is leading a team of more than 1,800 volunteers in North Carolina who are combing through voter rolls to identify what they consider suspicious voters.
And you're trying to come up with county by county lists.
It's a list of suspicious voters. Again, not necessarily illegal or ineligible voters, but people that hit our suspicious list.
CBS News obtained a video of Womack discussing how to identify those suspicious voters. We showed it.
Pause it for a second. How are they going to define these suspicious voters? Incidentally, I wonder if this is how they found those suspicious voters in those.
Correct. Fomash, no. Rehoboth Rangers, welcome. Have you decided who you're voting for? Yeah, I've already cast my ballots. I went and voted early.
States where they potentially people who weren't supposed to registered.
Yeah, potential non-citizens, which also means potential citizens.
Understand, this has been the strategy of the Republican Party for at least, I'm talking purging voter rolls, at least since 2000. Katherine Harris was the Secretary of State. She was also the co-chair of the George W. Bush campaign in Florida, and they purged thousands of people from the voter lists.
No, I went in person. I went in person for early voting. I think it was last Saturday.
Because they had names like other people who maybe shouldn't have been on the voter lists. But let's listen to the expert on how we identify suspicious potential voters.
Get his explanation.
If you've got folks that you that were registered and they're missing information, and they were registered in the last 90 days before the election, and they've got Hispanic sounding last names, that probably is a suspicious voter.
Yep, you called it, off-world colonist. That's right. So because my name is Carlos, I'm potentially a suspicious voter. It's pretty freaking sad and infuriating. I legitimately actually checked to see if my registration was good, because of the way things are. CC Bean, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I think Trump will win. It's a possibility. Vote on Tuesday. That's right. Who are you voting for? Yes.
But why would you single out Hispanic sounding last names?
In that case, I would have to listen to the full context. Hispanic sounding last names certainly is not exclusive. Anyone who is lacking the required information, we certainly would consider them as a suspicious voter. We are trying to find every illegitimate voter and to challenge the ones that shouldn't be voting.
Womack says he expects his group to challenge.
Look, I'll put it to you like this, CC Bean. I voted against Trump.
At most a few hundred voters. Still, activists like Proano question their motives.
If they have to contest these elections, what they're going to go back to is non-citizen voting. They're laying the groundwork now to contest the election in
Now, there's no way.
There is no evidence. Yes. This whole piece that it's like, that there's an argument. We had a Democrat on, we had a Republican on. Yes, the Republican said like it's this, but who knows in what context he said that. He could have said in the context of, well, it's not just the Spanish sounding last names. It's really any
non-white. They're just setting up another riot if Donnie loses. No doubt about it. Welcome, Portland 1000. Bro, you can't vote as an illegal immigrant. Exactly. The thing is, off-world colonists, they know this, right? That's the whole thing. They know this. These are the same clowns that say farmers will take their doctor careers. Yeah, they know this, okay? They know that that people that are non-citizens cannot vote, okay? That's not how this works. And there is no evidence that there is a significant amount of there's no evidence that there's such an overwhelming amount of people who aren't eligible to vote voting. It's just not a thing. Okay. In any election that we've had, the margin of people that are voting that aren't supposed to be voting is a statistical, you can round it off to a statistical error. Okay, we're talking 0.000, something like that. It's a non-issue. Okay. Echo Wrestler Dragon, welcome. It's the dead Republicans voting. How do you feel about Kamala Harris supporting Israel? That's such a weird question. I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled about it. It's kind of a lose-lose situation on that front. The Simulacra, welcome. Not just overwhelming. It's not statistically relevant. Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's literally it's just not a problem. It's just not a problem. Most people here, sure, Trump is here, HEAR, Trump is better for Israel.
Anything that sounds a little bit foreign,
the sequencing of that. Like maybe put the guy where he couldn't remember the context where he mentioned Hispanic names being a flag for suspicion. How about, put that up front in the piece before you get to like the denials, and also maybe say,
dude, I answered your question. How do I feel about Kamala supporting Israel? I'm not thrilled about it. I don't like it. I don't think that we should be supporting a genocide. Period.
hey, what is a good context for, just hypothetically, you said it, maybe you can't remember saying it.
Or let's play the whole thing and you can explain it to us, why we're taking it out of context. It's unbelievable. But this is what the strategy is. Now, they may win. Trump may win. And all this investment in there will be how he explains, well, I actually got more votes than her too, but they had illegals. I mean, that's what he was talking about when he was complaining that Hillary Clinton got more votes than him. But this is how they're going to tie stuff up in the courts.
They do John Kelly or Charlie Kirk?
Oh, let's do the John Kelly, and maybe you guys will do the Charlie Kirk tomorrow. While we're here, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, I see what you mean. Gotcha.
She's doing basically the same thing.
Gotcha. Most people here in Israel think Trump is better for Israel. Gotcha. Makes sense, actually. That actually makes sense. Donnie is good for Saudi Arabia also.
In terms of attempting to lay the groundwork for a stolen election narrative. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is on with noted journalist Alex Jones, who apparently is still allowed to broadcast. His creditors have not taken all of their equipment yet. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene is on there to claim that the voting machines are ineffective and actually rigged. Now, you're not going to believe who made these voting machines.
No.
Or maybe you will. I wonder if a member of Congress has immunity when they're speaking on InfoWars.
Licorice? I don't like licorice. Not gonna eat licorice, sorry.
County.
I like Biden. I was sorry that he retired. I'm not. I think Trump is bad for the world. Climate change, I don't know if you're into that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you've if you hang out in the channel for any length of time, you're going to hear me talk extensively about the climate crisis. In fact, I have like lots of freaking like thoughts on that. But objectively, Trump is not good for the climate crisis. I mean, like literally, we just heard him say like that his only like policy is that he just wants to dig or drill, baby drill.
Someone posted up that when they went to vote in Whitfield County here,
I really believe it's a huge step for the earth. It is.
In Georgia's 14th district. Now remember, we're a swing state, and we need everyone to vote.
Objectively, it is. Yes, you are correct.
In my district. And so they went to vote, and we have the Dominion machines. And you go through and you mark president, you mark, for Congress, that would be me. They marked Donald Trump, and they marked who they were voting for the rest of the way down their ballot on the machine. Then when they're finished, the machine prints their ballot, a paper copy, a printed copy And each voter has to review that printed copy to make sure that it has selected the candidates that they want to vote for. And so when this voter printed their ballot and they looked, it had changed. It was not Donald Trump. It was not me, and it was not the other ones they had voted for. It had switched. And so they went up to one of the election workers and they said, here's the problem. The machine switched it, and my printed ballot, I did not vote for these people. So they had to start over, and they went through it several times, and it kept on making the same error, kept on switching the votes. And so this is something we're...
Dominion has another lawsuit. Yeah, otherwise, like, listen, I don't care what she says. Yeah, alternative facts. Alternative facts. Like, listen, show at this point in time, like, this is so beyond, like, show freaking evidence, or honestly just like shut the F up. The voter was 105 years old and blind. An old person was struggling with technology? No way. I show the evidence, Marge, or just quiet.
Just starting to look into today, because I just found out about it this morning before I came on your show today. But we will be following up, and I'll be talking to election workers and officials here in the district and making sure that this happens, that these ballots are correct. Because that's extremely concerning. It sounds similar to what we heard in 2020.
It certainly does.
Things that I'm concerned about, Alex. Here in Georgia, we fixed our voting laws, but states that did not fix their voting laws is Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, extremely important swing states. They never fixed their election laws.
That is interesting. What a coincidence. What a coincidence.
Fix is a funny word with a number of different meanings.
There's Marjorie Taylor Greene doing her part to cede the predicate for a stolen election in the event that Donald Trump loses.
Yeah. So this is all going to go hand in hand with what we're going to talk about here. Remember when conservatives used to brag about how good looking their ladies are? Forgot to lock the apartment. What can happen? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
There it is.
That's what can happen.
And she hasn't even gotten to the weather machines that will be deployed to change the vote.
Yeah.
The machines that can change weather and a vote in a ballot.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the...
Yep. And only Democrats can control, by the way. We're already starting with this. There's less than 1 week to the election, and we're already starting with this garbage. Okay. Trump and the GOP allies escalate election fraud conspiracy in Pennsylvania. Former President Trump on Wednesday today basically claimed that Pennsylvania is cheating at large scale levels, escalating his spread of election fraud conspiracies in this all-important swing state. The efforts are similar to what Trump and his allies claimed before the 2020 presidential election. Trump went on to lose Pennsylvania by 81,000 votes. Now, with polls showing Trump and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris in the dead heat in the Keystone State, the GOP appears to be laying the groundwork for once again to challenge these results. As in 2020, Trump's playbook in Pennsylvania involved exaggerating and mischaracterizing any irregularities around the state's election to bolster claims of widespread fraud. Okay. Quote, Pennsylvania's cheating and getting caught at large scales rarely seen before. Report cheating to authorities. Law enforcement must act now, Trump wrote in his Truth Social. Why did GOP unlock her dungeon? Laura Loomer did it. 2 days earlier, Trump falsely claimed that Lancaster County was caught with fake ballots and forms, even though officials there did not allege that any of the potential fraudulent material were actually votes. The county says it's investigating up to 2,500 voter registration applications that were submitted around the state's registration deadline. There are nearly 366,000 registered voters in Lancaster County. In that same post, Trump also claimed that another part of the state, York County, also received thousands of potential fraudulent voter registration forms and mail-in ballot applications from a third-party group. Quote, really bad stuff. What is going on in Pennsylvania? Law enforcement must do their job immediately. Wow. I imagine that's how he's probably thinking to himself how it goes. York County President Commissioner Julie Wheeler said it's not unusual to get large stacks of voter registrations or large stacks of requests for mail-in ballots. Of course, because it's an election, ? It's just an overabundance of registrations from one particular organization. Election experts say instances of actual voter fraud are rare. Pennsylvania's Republican Secretary of State Al Schmidt said the state's top election official told CBS News on Sunday that the Commonwealth has taken extra steps to fortify election security in 2024. But that has not stopped Trump and Republicans from raising alarm about the state's election operations. Republican National Committee Chair Michael Whatley alleged on Monday on Twitter that the Commonwealth was beset by voter suppression from the left, ? His tweet included a video of a woman identified as a Trump supporter being handcuffed in Delaware County. That same day, RNC lawyer Linda Kearns sent a letter to Schmidt flagging reports of potential widespread election administration issues, including voters being told that computers are down. On Tuesday, the Trump campaign, the RNC and groups affiliated with the GOP Senate candidate Dave McCormick filed a lawsuit in Bucks County accusing the county of turning away voters. The Bucks County government, however, rebutted the allegations that voters in line for mail-in ballots are being rejected. Trump pushed his claim about Lancaster County further at a campaign rally in Allentown on Tuesday night. So if you have a mail-in ballot, get that damn ballot in, please, immediately, because they've already started cheating in Lancaster. They've cheated. We caught them with 2,600 votes. None of that happened. President Trump, the former president, has repeatedly urged law enforcement to take action, but investigations are already underway. The Commonwealth's Department of State is in touch with York and Lancaster counties to provide guidance to them as they conduct investigations, and will continue to support them as needed. Ultimately, the county election office and investigative law enforcement agencies will determine whether any criminal charges are warranted. Trump has repeatedly spread false fraud claims about Pennsylvania ahead of the 2020 election as well. He claimed in October of 2020 that thousands of ballots with his name on it had been dumped in dumpsters and garbage cans. In fact, officials said at the time that just 9 ballots had been improperly discarded in Luzerne County, and that 7 of them were marked for Trump. Amazing. Pennsylvania voters have been bombarded with political ads and messaging in the run-up to the election day, creating an environment ripe for misinformation to spread. For instance, a fake video showing a person ripping up Pennsylvania ballots recently went viral on social media. Federal agencies warned Friday that the video was manufactured and amplified by Russian actors. Amazing. And here is the corresponding tweet that was just done yesterday. Wow! York County, Pennsylvania received thousands of potential fraudulent voter registration forms and mail-in ballot applications from a third-party group. This is on top of Lancaster County being caught with 2,600 fake ballot and forms, all written by the same person. Really bad stuff. What is going on? So this is the tweet that they were talking about. It's not going to stop, folks. It's not going to stop. So buckle up. It's going to be a interesting, 2 months, I would say.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable.
Those comments from President Joe Biden set off a firestorm, according to Politico, with Republicans like Marco Rubio calling on the president to apologize for calling Donald Trump supporters garbage. Now, I watched the video and was really pleased to see Biden correctly call Trump supporters garbage, because I think it's just objectively true. But upon watching the video again, it is evident that he probably made more of a Freudian slip and just misspoke, and he did take to Twitter to confirm that.
Yeah, so just to be clear, first of all, okay, please spare me the frickin' hand-wringing from all these conservative clowns who are talking about civility, okay? when almost a decade at this point, they have been abhorrent. They have been constantly bullying minorities. And they've been at this for nonstop. And now they want to cry civility. Okay? Like, we're just going off, like, because Biden clarified that he's actually not talking about Trump supporters, but whatever. In this iteration, let's pretend that he is. Like, please, freaking spare me the hand wringing, okay? Like, the same thing goes for this freaking clown, okay? Oh, this is disgusting. Kamala Harris and her boss, Joe Biden, are attacking half the country. There's no excuse for this. I hope Americans reject it. Bro, like, please, spare me, okay? Please, spare me. Boo freaking who, man? Spare me. Thank you for the follow. But without the hand wringing, they would hardly get any exercise. I've been saying that all along. Election day is just the opening ceremonies for the real chaos. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the election day, but like the next couple of days after that and forward is when the chaos, as you mentioned, could potentially happen.
He didn't mean what it looked like he meant, saying, earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump supporters.
Yeah, and here's the tweet as he's putting up there. You know what? Like, bro, you're free, okay? You're free. These are garbage people, and it's okay to say it. They have spent the last decade being completely abhorrent, and now they want to clutch freaking perils. Now they want to start clutching perils about civility. Nah, they freaking made this bed, okay? So they can go F themselves, all of them. And you know what? It is objectively true that these people are absolute garbage, okay? It is. I'm sorry. It is. And it's okay to call it what it is, okay?
At his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. Now, even though he took the time to clarify what he meant, I don't think that Republicans are going to give him a pass for this. And worse, I don't think that the media will give him a pass as well, because they're going to use this as an opportunity to appear fair and balanced, and making it seem as if Trump and Biden's rhetoric is comparably bad, when that's just factually incorrect. And
correct. Yeah, like, you're gonna tell me that, like, the nominee of the other major political party talking about how immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country, you're gonna cry about being called garbage now? Seriously?
Deeply, deeply dishonest. Now, am I glad that he clarified because it's just bad politics to insult voters before an election? Yeah, strategically speaking, it makes sense that he would say this.
Yeah, sure. Maybe, but like me, since I'm not a politician running for office, I can say that. And you know what? Biden is not running for office, so you know what? Like, he's free. Dude, just be free.
But morally speaking, am I sad that he chose to walk it back? Yeah, I am. And the reason why I have no problem saying that is because for months now, we've seen Donald Trump again and again not just talk about Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. And to now start talking about like, oh man, they're calling us garbage. Yeah, dude, you know what? I'm not a politician, okay? I'm not a politician. I don't have to hide behind the veneer of civility in terms of like how I'm able to operate. I don't have to do that, okay? That's right. Hey, Gendrick Bender. Thank you for the follow, Lacking of Space. Yeah, the Puerto Ricans were also called garbage. So, like, you know what? I don't have those parameters, okay? These people are freaking garbage, okay? These people are garbage. These people are fascist, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm tired, and I'm tired of the faux civility that they now want to pretend that they care about, okay?
As garbage, and talking about using the military to violently quash anti-Trump protests that may pop up if he's elected again, and talking about us as if we're the enemy within, and not to mention his racist attacks, his neo-Nazi lies that he was spreading about Haitian migrants who are illegal immigrants who he says he wants to deport. He has been talking shit for months, but the second Joe Biden gives him just a little bit...
For years. This has been going on for almost a decade as far as like the outward scaling of rhetoric has been happening since almost a decade.
Bit of a taste of his own medicine. The right collectively loses their fucking mind, and the media goes along with it, because rather than pointing out the fact that Donald Trump is a fascist and his rally at Madison Square Garden was effectively a neo-Nazi rally that was eerily reminiscent of the 1939 Nazi rally held at Madison Square Garden, the media is going to use this as an opportunity to both sides of the situation and make it seem as if Democrats and Republicans are comparable. They're both divisive, and they both need to turn down the heat. This gives hack outlets like Politico the opportunity to pretend as if they're neutral and they attack both sides equally. But both sides are not the same here. Biden can say, fuck all of Donald Trump's supporters, they can eat my ass, and it wouldn't be nearly as vitriolic as all of the shit we've seen from Donald Trump for 8 fucking years.
Thank you.
And after spending years demonizing trans people and LGBTQ plus people, calling black Americans in powerful positions DEI choices, now those same people are crying about dehumanization after getting a taste of their own medicine. Case in point, Charlie Kirk had the audacity to tweet,
Joe Biden is using dehumanizing language. Bro, shut up. Biden should just pardon Hunter and Pack. Let's see that. Sorry you had to time me out. I didn't hear what you said. And to be clear, I wanted to hear your take on it. I agree with you. No problem. That's because the right is brainwashed and synchronized though what little of there is.
This out. Joe Biden is using dehumanizing language towards 80 million Americans, calling Trump supporters garbage. This is how the worst atrocities of the 20th century begin again in 2024. They think you are garbage, therefore worthy of elimination. Oh, he went there. This motherfucker went there. The guy who is afraid of black pilots went there.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Biden's rhetoric is dehumanizing to the point where he wants to genocide Trump supporters. That's effectively what he's saying.
Every accusation, folks, is just a confession, okay? Regarding Biden's garbage comment, the truth hurts. Indeed.
Ironically, after months of Donald Trump talking about how he wants to use the military against the left, calling us the enemy within, talking about using...
Just to be clear, like this is just like classic projection, right? Like every accusation is just a confession, right? That's just how these people operate.
A law from the 1700s to violently round up immigrants and place them in militarized camps. Those same people are now crying about dehumanization.
Right now, Paleo Valley is offering an amazing sale on these beef sticks. You can get 30...
I don't want beef sticks. Why do they keep trying to sell me beef sticks?
You can't make this fucking shit up. They can dish it, but they can't take it. They can call every single queer person a groomer, and some of them even celebrate when mass shootings happened, like at the one at Club Q. Remember that? But the second Biden maybe says you're garbage because of your politics that are, quite frankly, racist and fascistic, you cry and claim that you're the ones who are actually the victims who's being dehumanized after your entire political project is dehumanization. Charlie Kirk himself has talked about the need to deport all immigrants because he wants them out of his country. He wants the country to be white again. He didn't say that specifically, but that's the subtext.
Get them out of my country. Send them home. This transcends race. This transcends income. I want my country back. I don't want America to become Honduras. Adios. I want my culture back.
We're talking about people who use...
Yeah, this is explicitly freaking like freaking Nazi. Yeah, there you go. Make America white again. This is explicitly like Nazi rhetoric. Okay. I get a package full of food from other countries every month. Oh, you know what? We used to have a subscription. Not a subscription, but like well, it kind of is. I guess you could. I forget what it's called, and you get snacks from different parts of the world. I forget what it was called. There's several of these programs that you can sign up for. We used to have, and we got like a couple boxes. This was years ago though, so I can't even remember the name.
Violent rhetoric on a daily basis, who melt down like snowflakes the second they get even a minimal amount of scrutiny from a politician, the Democratic Party, and the media plays along with this bullshit every fucking time. It goes back to 2016. Remember when Hillary Clinton made that deplorables comment? She was right about that. She said that basically there were Trump supporters who had legitimate concerns about the economy, and there were others who were basically deplorable.
Yeah, a basket of deplorables. And you know what? Yeah, they are. Okay? Yeah, they are. Especially in this context. Okay? It is 2024. Okay? There is no freaking excuse. There is no freaking excuse.
Put them in a basket of deplorables. Now, Hillary Clinton was right about that. But the media demeaned her for that and ripped her a new asshole, even though Donald Trump said things that were far worse about the Democratic Party and their supporters. And we've seen this again and again and again. After Donald Trump's assassination attempt, the media was in lockstep with some Republicans who were calling on Democrats to turn down the temperature because they implied that Democrats calling Donald Trump a fascist, correctly so, might I add, was tantamount to an incitement of violence against him. But he's objectively a fascist, so they're just saying don't tell the truth about him. And if you do, you're inciting violence against him. But none of them mention the fact that back in 2016, Trump literally raised the specter of assassinating Hillary Clinton, saying that the Second Amendment people can do something about her if she chose to come after their guns.
Yeah, like, so, please, I mean, seriously, I remember this comment. I'm pretty sure we went over this. This was quite a while. I want to debate Charlie Kirk. Oh man, there's really not much to debate there, right? Like debating these people, like there's people who enjoy debating, but like I've gotten to the point where, and this is just my personal opinion, I've gotten to the point where like I see no purpose, right? Like I see no purpose. It's like debating. It's like debating a flat earther, right? Like where are we going with this? You know that Charlie Kirk is going to come from a position that's just completely divorced from reality, and you're going to have to fight him in his world. Does that make sense? Because there's never going to be a situation where you and Charlie Kirk or you and any other MAGA pundit are going to be on a footing of reality. You're not going to be able to piggyback off that. It's always going to be on the back foot of the truth, and like, which puts anyone who debates them like already on the back step. I don't debate talking point factories. Like it's just, you know, yeah, they will say anything isn't true, right? Like it doesn't matter. The truth is secondary, and that's the whole rub, right? The truth is secondary. It's not important to them, and they will use that because their supporters don't need the truth necessarily. Like they don't. Speaking to them with honesty is not a requirement. In fact, it's probably for the best in their movement. I prefer to debate people who have a basic level of sapience.
If she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
it's a double standard.
Yeah, like, so that implication is you should assassinate her, right? Like that. Yeah, I don't care. Like, there's no pretzeling your way out of this. That was clearly the underlying message there. There's something that, you know, the Second Amendment people can do about it. Come on, man. Do you think Trump will win? I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's a possibility that he could win. I think it's possible that he could win. Yes. I just, it's really gonna come down to like the thinnest of razor thin margins. It's gonna be very close. Do I think he will win? I don't know. Thanks for commenting on the doublespeak. It's hard to talk about. Do you think it will... no problem. Do you think it will come down to Michigan? I mean, Michigan is important. Yes. It will come down to a couple of these states because it depends on how... It depends on how the handful of swing states play out, right? Because like Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin... there's another one that I'm missing, I think, or another couple that I'm missing. But any combination of those... could present a path to victory for either of them. Does that make sense? So it's like, will he win? I don't know. I can't say definitively. It's a possibility that he does. But as far as like the numbers go, it's a coin toss that favors Harris. I think Trump can win the electoral college with a little help from his friends. Yeah. I thought he was over January 6th. No. And if the ballot wildfire continues, it'll be hard to say. Even if Harris wins, he's going to say it was fraud. Or that's what I'm thinking at least. He's already saying there's fraud. Like he's already talking about fraud. That's completely false. He's already there. We haven't even finished the election, okay? We're not even at November 5th, and he's already talking about fraud. I thought he was over on January 6th, and I was wrong. January 6th only strengthened him. I mean, in a normal world, you would think that would be the end of somebody's political career, but like nothing has so far ended that political career.
Democrats are always held to a higher standard, while Donald Trump and Republicans are graded on a curve, because as a country, we've just accepted that they're going to say terrible things, and we have to be okay with that. But if Democrats do something similar, well, then we all have to melt down because we expect more of them. I'm sick of the bullshit. If you're going to dish it, you should be able to take it. And if you're going to demonize half the country, don't be surprised when you get a taste of your own medicine. So I don't know if Joe Biden meant what he said, but regardless, what it sounded like he said was true. If you support Donald Trump, who is a fascist who supports rounding up immigrants and placing them in militarized camps and using the military against citizens who protest him, violating our First Amendment rights, you are a garbage person. If you support that, you're garbage.
Correct. Yeah, it's a bumper sticker right there. I know, and I'm so tired of it, exhausted from this man's midlife crisis drama that I'm forced to have to live through with every other American. It's terrible. Oh man, it's not good. It's not great. So Man, if you've been on Twitter for the last couple of hours, man, there has been discourse, okay? And the only reason I'm bringing any of this up, you know what? Let's just actually run through these headlines really quickly. Florida teen with machete arrested for voter intimidation at a polling place. Listen, I'm just gonna cut to the chase, okay? This was a MAGA. This was a MAGA supporter. Okay, they were MAGA supporters, and they were literally trying to intimidate people voting. Okay, this happened in Florida, and he was arrested. He did have a weapon. He had a machete, and yeah, he was a MAGA person. And well, no, he wasn't. He wouldn't intimidate. Like he was intimidating older people. So you can kind of see what kind of character this person is. He was intimidating elderly people. Women. Women no less. So yeah, we can gather what kind of character this coward is. So yeah. Who police said went to the Beaches Branch Library to protest and antagonize the opposing political side. The group was there for no other reason but for ill intentions to cause a disturbance. This is not an incident of solely a First Amendment right, but rather they were simply there to cause a ruckus. None of the other teens are currently facing any charges, but Key said the investigation is ongoing and other additional charges may be possible. Lock him up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Susie Bean. So it wasn't just like, he was literally threatening like elderly women. So yeah, we can gather what kind of character this person is. It's not just a midlife crisis, it's a legal crisis. If he doesn't win, he has like 5 more felony trials to attend. Lock him up, indeed. So yeah, we can see how things are playing out, and the actual election hasn't even happened yet. We're less than a week away, folks. So buckle up. Just to speed run through this one. This is a story we talked about recently about Virginia taking away 1,600 people, registered voter people. Oh, I'm tired, folks. The Supreme Court's conservative majority on Wednesday left in place the Virginia's purged voter registrations that the state says is aimed to stopping people who are not U.S. citizens from voting. One Virginian whose registration was canceled despite living in the state her entire life called the purge a very bad October surprise. The High Court, over the dissents of 3 liberal justices, granted an emergency appeal from Virginia's Republican administration led by Governor Glenn Youngkin. The court provided no rationale for its action, which is typical in emergency appeals. Cool. Thank you. The justice acted on the appeal after a federal judge found that the state illegally purged more than 1,600 voter registrations in the past 2 months. A federal court appeals had previously allowed the judge's order to remain in effect. So in other words, wait a minute. Have you seen Dean Withers, Emily Wilson debate? I think I recognize that guy. Is he the one that did well, he's done several, right? And he got her to confess or to say that, like, if all states, if individual states voted for slavery, then it would be okay. And she was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Is that the girl? Okay, yeah, that's her. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that clip went freaking viral. Whew. Youngkin said voters who believe they are improperly removed from the votes can still vote in the election because Virginia has same-day registration. Yeah, but like, so, no, the point is that some of these people, just won't reach out and try to get their voter registration back, and that's kind of the point. So terrible freaking ruling. People need to learn how to moderate. It's difficult to find like good debate moderators. To be quite frank, like even in presidential debates, like even in actual like super important freaking presidential debates, like seriously, like you even like the moderators sometimes like just completely drop the ball. So yeah, like good debate moderators are pretty. That's a tough job. That's a tough job. That's a tough job. All right, folks. So, as I was saying, because we just kind of needed to speed run through that, Twitter discourse, because, you know, that's my favorite thing to talk about. However, I think it's important, and it's kind of relevant to, like, the climate, the political climate that we are kind of facing right now. And, so this clip kind of came out and started making the rounds and got pretty freaking viral.
Notion of a fascist. Because look, if we're just gonna use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna? You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do when you lose.
This is, just to be clear, this is about Trump, okay? The Chiron was a story that they did about Democrats worrying about getting locked up by Trump because Trump has threatened to use the military to essentially against his political opponents.
Lose an election and you go, oh, I got fake electors and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
Cenk is correct here, okay? Like, it's not just, like, fascism, by the way, is not just authoritarian in nature, right? Like, authoritarianism, being an authoritarian is just that, right? You're an authoritarian. But fascism is specific. Authoritarianism is a element of fascism, but you can have fascism, you know, you don't need just like one dictator to have fascism, right? Does that make sense? You can have a fascism where it's just a one party controlling all aspects of institutions. You know, it doesn't have to be like just one autocrat.
But was he able to do those things?
It doesn't matter. This is what's so frustrating. Like, it doesn't matter if he was unable to do any of that, right? Like, that doesn't make you not a fascist. Does that make sense? That doesn't make you not a fascist. Just because you couldn't enact the fascism doesn't mean you are not a fascist. This is so unbelievably absurd that I refuse to believe that this is coming out of a place of stupidity, because Anna's smarter than that and she knows it. So the only conclusion I'm drawing here is that she's doing it on purpose. And that's freaking dangerous, man. That is freaking dangerous. Like Commandant, hey, Kamala 2024 here. Find that Trump supporters lame. All they can say is fight, which is just so cringe. I mean, it's more than that, but yes, sure.
Trump's
his rhetoric is awful.
Okay, if you
his rhetoric is fascistic. Okay, when you talk about a certain group of people in this context, in this instance, we're talking about immigrants. When you talk about a group of people poisoning the blood of your country, that is explicitly fascist, okay? That is explicitly fascist. The rampant nationalism, okay? The adulation of authoritarian people, mainly fascists like Viktor Orban, the constant berating of democratic institutions like, the vote. These are all fascist freaking characteristics. I mean, like, you can go and look up like serious, like actual, Trump. Anna's trying for a Trump PR spot. Saying immigrants are savages and eating pets is also extremely racist. Correct. I mean, like, this isn't like a thing that we're just making up. Just to be very clear, like, when I say that Trump is fascist, like, I'm not just saying that because I don't like Trump. Okay, it's because he is. And this is not like just coming out of nowhere. This is documented. It means something. Fascism means something. And she's the one that's actually doing a disservice here. Powerful, often exclusionary populist nationalism, Trump, centered on a cult of redemptive, infallible leader, Trump, who never admits mistakes, Trump. Political power derived from questioning reality, Trump. Endorsing myth and rage, promoting lies, Trump. Fixation with perceived national decline, humiliation, and victimhood. Our nation is in decline. Like, it's literally word for word. I mean, like, we can go down this list, right? Replacement theory. This is completely a thing that he promotes and he endorses because clearly the people that go up on stage all believe this crap. Disdain for human rights, boom. Check. Identification of enemies and scapegoats as a unifying cause, check. Immigrants and LGBTQ people. Supremacy of the military and embrace paramilitarism in an uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elites, check. Rampant sexism, super check. Control of mass media and undermining truth, check. Although he doesn't really have control of well, I guess he kind of does. Well, not really, but he does undermine the truth a lot. Checklist for American greatness. Obsession with national security, crime, law and order. Your nation is being invaded. Religion and government aren't entwined, check. Corporate power and labor is protected. Labor power suppressed, check. Disdain for individual and intellectuals and the arts not aligned with the fascistic narrative, check. Rampant cronyism and corruption, check. Loyal to the leader is paramount and often more important than competence. Like, super check. Like, you can do 2 checks on that one. Fraudulent elections and creation of a one-party state. I mean, like, what else is needed, right? Often seeking to expand territory through armed conflict. I mean, he claims he doesn't want war, but yeah, whatever. This is another one. Fraudulent elections. He literally tried to steal the election. I mean, yeah. So he is a fascist. Okay, he is a fascist. Period.
Don't want to be called fascist? Stop saying fascist things. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Not that hard. Oh, here, let me have dinner with Nick Fuentes, who's a Nazi.
True. Like, I mean, Jank is correct on all of these points. And like, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of TYT at this point in time for a various amount of reasons, including Anna. But Jank is right.
Who's a Nazi, and let me say there's good people on the Nazi side. Oh, it could be pro-Confederate guys. Might be guys who are pro-slavery who are good guys. Let me do all of these things. Let me say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation.
Like, that is explicitly freaking fascist. You can't get away from that quote. That is explicitly fascist.
Nazi term that is only used in the past by Nazis. And
Correct.
Then say, I'm gonna ban Muslims, I'm gonna do this and this and this to all the other ethnic groups, and then go, oh, I can't believe you called me a fascist. No, he is a fascist. I'm very happy to call him a fascist.
All right.
Base.
All right. All right, I'm not going to get back into it.
notion.
I kind of like that edit. So Anna convinced herself that she is white passing enough that they will not come for her. Correct. Oh, but this gets better. This gets better, folks.
Trump can be both a racist and a fascist, just like Kamala can be Indian and black.
Guys, fascist means something.
What does it mean, Anna?
Okay, in order for someone to carry out a fascist presidency, okay, the conditions in the country have to be very specific. Think about what led to the rise of Mussolini, okay? Following World War I, where you have a bunch of angry, aimless, poor people living in poverty, okay? You have the Great Depression. Like, I just need people to understand, like, you should be afraid of Trump.
Anna. Whew.
But I think the hyperbole is dangerous. It is encouraging people to carry out acts of violence. We need to be careful. That's all I'm saying.
If you think calling a fascist is going to encourage acts of violence? Question mark? How, Anna? When has calling a fascist incited violence? Like, where's all these examples? Yeah, by Republicans. Yeah, like, hey, here's an it's funny that exactly, Michael Hassler. It's funny because like the only people that seem to have this ability, this innate ability of encouraging violence with their words are conservatives. They're the ones that are doing this. She just described MAGA. Yes! Who are incidentally fascist! This is so stupid. And not only that, even worse, like the only reason I'm bringing any of this up because I freaking like, I do not like to, I don't like to do like the whole drama thing. But like, seriously, this is actually dangerous to downplay the fascist movement that is happening in front of our faces. And I will not be gaslit and be told that what I'm seeing is not happening, okay? I'm not going to sit here and be gaslit and be told that fascism isn't happening. Like, oh, you shouldn't call Trump a fascist. You shouldn't call Trump a fascist because that's bad. It's hyperbolic. Okay? It's hyperbolic and actually you're encouraging violence. No. And what is dangerous is you downplaying fascism. And of course, her response is, quote, I don't support Trump. I also don't think it's helpful to call him a fascist or Nazi. He is. Those words actually mean something. They do. And beyond not liking a candidate. I also don't think listening or to read the perspectives of conservative voters is a flaw or something I should feel ashamed of. No one is saying that this is completely made up. Okay? No one is saying that you should be ashamed for listening to conservative voters. Okay? I've listened to conservative perspectives. That's how I know it's completely delusional and dangerous. Okay? We've sat here as a community and have listened to countless hours of conservative perspective. Okay? We know how freaking dangerous and delusional these people are. Okay? We know that they are fascist because we have sat here and we've listened and read the perspective of these conservative voters or people in this case, I guess, in our context. We've done the work. Okay, like this is so infuriating because like the implication is like, oh, the left doesn't listen to the other side. Yeah, we do. That's how we know. Okay. That's how we know. Those words, and as I responded, those words do mean something. Fascism is a specific ideology that perfectly describes Trump. True! From the rampant nationalism to literally referring to a group of people, immigrants, as poisoning the blood of our country to authoritarian rhetoric, it's not just I don't like him, right? Like, this is such a freaking straw man, okay? This is not the reason why people are calling him a fascist, okay? Like, this is absurd. This is a straw man. It's like, oh, I'm calling Trump a fascist because I don't like him. No, man, that's what conservatives do, okay? Like, seriously, the people who are serious, and understand the ramifications of the MAGA movement, the people who are actual, like, good faith, reasonable, logical pundits who have analyzed and who have gone through the MAGA movement and know what they are and have talked to them and have looked at what they post, will deduce that these people are fascistic. There's just no way around it. I'm sorry, they're fascist. Okay, if just like Jenk said, if you're spewing fascist rhetoric, if you're talking like a fascist, if you're meeting with Nazis, if your movement and party is full of them, what am I like? Hello, and like seriously, this is super dangerous. You know, shame on her. This is not a freaking joke, man. Shame on her. Having his relatives in positions of power just because they are related may be fascist as well. Like the cronyism, right? The nepotism. The corruption. This is also not what fascism means. To which she responds, exactly. In a Trump world, it's not hard to imagine Hulk Hogan, the new Secretary of Energy. Jesus. Oh, man. Yeah, as one of the characteristics of fascism, it's actually like the devotion to the dear leader, or to the party, I guess, the fascist party. It's the dedication and loyalty that's above everything, which Trump is really is super about that. That will literally be above competence. So yeah, you know, it's a weird scenario, but you know, stranger things have happened. Anyways, the point being is that, like, seriously, like, just for a second, this is not okay. And the normalization, right? Like the normalization of fascism, and just to downplay it and say like, oh well, you know, it's just too much. You're being hyperbolic, and like, you know, you're just calling everybody you don't like fascist, and to delegitimize what's actually happening is seriously some like nefarious stuff, because like because Anna is an intelligent person, okay? Anna is an intelligent person. The long and short of it is it's she knows what she's doing, okay? I refuse to believe that this is something like out of like, you know, out of like a Dave Rubin character, right? Even though she's going down the Dave Rubin arc, the Jimmy Dore arc, whatever. But the point being is that like she's not stupid, okay? And when someone of her caliber, with her reach, with her audience, and her with her reach and her audience, saying stuff like this, basically slow walking the normalization of fascism, is just not okay. Okay? That's just not okay. And to double down and punch left when being called out on it, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. So does Jank in keeping her on. Yeah. I mean, she's what? Assistant CEO or like something like that. She's like really like high up there in the network, right? So yeah, I mean, you're right. She thinks Trump will win, and she's just attempting to protect herself from the Trump purge of media. Oh, my goodness. I can't. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. It's really almost 7 o'clock. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. Folks, by the way, the announcement that I was supposed to make, I'm going to start a Substack because I feel like making scripted standalone videos on YouTube is just too much. I don't think I can right now. And I want to do more writing, or I guess a better way of putting it, because also making like a scripted podcast is something that I also have had thinking about. I've been thinking about as well, making like a scripted, actual like standalone, like I don't know, 20-minute, 30-minute podcast that is not like a live stream. Has been something that's been on my mind for quite a while. I've done it before. In fact, that's one of the ways I got started, but it's not something that I can confidently sustain at the moment. Neither is like making standalone YouTube content. So I figured maybe I should just shift to writing stuff. Maybe I could write something once a week and post it there and post it on the website as well. So once I get that going, I'll make another announcement. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking about just like writing as well. And that will be coming soon, folks. So stick around for the announcement once it's up and running. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the content, to hit that follow button. Subscribe on the YouTube. Join the Discord, folks. Tomorrow we're going to have a Halloween event, so feel free to join that. Thank you for all the new follows. CC Bean, G64, JJJ64, and Ice King of Space. Thank you and welcome. Thank you all. Thank you, Michael Asser, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Yeah, I'm gonna make a link for that. Seriously, I've got an idea. Yeah, make that command. I've got an idea. Turning like this was supposed to be a podcast. Ooh, sorry. Let me go back. This was supposed to be a podcast, but this could perfectly be like an article. Like this can perfectly be an article, and there's sources about what I'm talking about. And you know, I think it could work. I'll just like eliminate the actual like talked intro that I had at the beginning, and I can use that as a launch pad, so to speak. But oop, dang it, and I just closed it. It's okay. Anyways, the point being is it's an idea, folks. It's an idea, and I can launch it every Friday since I don't do streams on Friday. I can where did it go? Ah, here we are. Yeah, I gotta make that command and just launch it every Friday. Post it, boom, and post it on the website. And that's how I will roll. And I can make I could even make it into a podcast if I want. Substack lets you do it. So you can listen to the audio version of it. So hey, that's an option that I will be working on. So once that all is completed, and I've got like maybe three articles, because that's like 3 weeks, an article a week, or maybe I'll just do it because it's going to be spontaneous about current events. I can just launch that, and once I do, I'll let you guys know. The Substack exists. I just need to like post stuff on it. So maybe this Friday I can do the first post, since it's actually relevant to the election. Yeah. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate all of your support. Tomorrow the stream will be tentative. I'm going to lean towards no stream tomorrow. But we'll see. But I'm going to lean towards no stream tomorrow, and if anything changes, I will post it on the Discord. Join the Discord, folks. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. If not tomorrow, join the Discord. Then it will be Monday. Thank y'all, and I appreciate it. See ya. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.